Hi everyone, how you doing? Hope you're all having a lovely Imbolc celebration. I am talking to you from the very beautiful Hornsea today. I'm at the seaside, whee! I think the last few videos I've done have either been from my garden or from my bed, either because I've been at home with the child or because I've been physically unable to get out. So this is nice actually to be out. Let's see if I can swing round and you can see the sea a little bit. If you can see that there behind me. There we go. So lovely beach in the background there. So my last video that I did for the Pagan Federation Disabilities Team Festivals was about anxiety and witchcraft, and I wanted to continue that theme a little bit for you and talk about what happens when you're suffering from anxiety and you're working in a group, how it can impact that, and the things that I do about it. I'm sort of loath to say, here's what you can do about it, because I know everybody experiences anxiety in a different way and everybody deals with it in a different way. But I thought it might interest you to know some of the things that I sort of do as coping mechanisms. So first and foremost, when you're in a group situation, obviously you've got a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, or if it's a small group, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 different personalities, and you've all got your own things going on, and you've really got to remember that. Although in a group you might all say the same words or take the same vows, you've got to be really respectful that everybody reacts to every situation in a different way, and what might seem really easy to deal with for some people might be incredibly stressful or even triggering for other people. So I think the key thing with that is communication. It's really important if you find yourself in a situation, well, in any situation, this doesn't not just go for magic or witchcraft, this goes for absolutely any situation. If something's happening and it's making you uncomfortable, it's having the trust to be able to say, yeah, I'm not happy with this anymore. I want to change the situation. I need to take a break. I might need to sit out of this one. So it's really important that you have that trust with the people that you're working with. I've been in a situation in a group ritual where the energy that was building was just it was really intense. I actually started to have a panic attack halfway through at like a really crucial point, and I had to literally, we were all stood up, I'd had to sit down and just stick my head between my legs and breathe. And in some ways I was mortified, and I had that horrible guilt thing that you get where you're like, oh, everybody's going to think I'm attention seeking, oh, and which of course doesn't help with the anxiety itself. It becomes cyclical and it builds. You become more anxious because you're worried about what people think about you. And obviously what helped in that situation was the fact that nobody cared, in the sense that they cared about me and the fact that I was struggling, but nobody thought that I was trying to steal the thunder or, take attention away from the work that we were doing. And in fact, in the end, everything was fine. I had a moment, my body got itself under control and we carried on and everything was fine. So, but I think you can only do that if you are in a group where you've got trust and you've got communication. Now, there will be other times where you can't actually get out and be with your group. I know I certainly find that my anxiety prevents me from leaving the house sometimes, and sometimes I can get out and about, but I'm just not capable of being around people. I get into very odd mindsets where I don't trust myself to speak to people because I think I'm going to say stupid things, or I think I'm going to get angry with people for no reason, or I've just convinced myself that I'm no good company. People don't need to be around me right now. And even though at some level I might know that that's not true, when you're trying to do magical work, it's not a good mindset to be in, because for me anyway, I think magic is about having confidence in yourself and your abilities, and being, having that connection to the world or the universe and linking up with other people. If you think you're no good for anything, for even just being yourself, then sometimes you just have to turn around and say, can't do this today, guys. It's not going to happen. And again, that's about being in a group where the people you're working with are going to turn around and say, we understand, and that's fine. And, you know, either we'll carry on without you, or excuse me, another thing that can be done is ask if something of yours can be taken to the ritual or the circle or the sacred place, whatever it is that's happening in that instance. So, I mean, I know I've asked for a knife of mine to be taken, so I just felt like at least part of me was there. I wasn't involved, I wasn't actually putting any of my energy into it, because at that time I felt that, excuse me, sorry, I just found a pretty. At that time I felt that I wouldn't add anything to the circle or the group because my energy was just all over the place. So I said, just take something of mine, take my knife, take it with you, and at least I'll feel like something of mine's been there and I've at least been a part of it. And also, it's the fact that if you've got a group who's willing to do that, it reinforces the fact that you are going to be there at some point. You're not being written off, you're not being excluded. It's your illness that's excluding you. And although your illness is a part of who you are, it isn't the entirety of who you are. And by being with the group, even in some metaphysical way, by, you know, say, take an object and that object will represent my presence, it's saying, it's almost like a place marker. It's like saying, I will be there at some point. When I'm feeling well enough, when I'm feeling together enough, I will get to it and I will be there. But in the meantime, don't forget about me. And when you're in a group that's trusting and caring, they won't forget about you. Obviously finding the right group, I guess, can be pretty hard. I mean, I've been really lucky in that, excuse me, the groups that I've worked with have had a good understanding of mental illness and a very good sort of, I don't want to really use the word tolerance because that sounds like it's something to be tolerated, but patience, I guess, patience and understanding with situations where not just myself but other members of the group have had to turn around and say, no, I just can't today. And they've been like, yeah, that's fine. For me, one of the biggest fears I have, which can actually set my anxiety off all by itself, is the fear of letting people down. I hate to think that I'm not reliable. I hate to think that I've let anybody down. It literally makes me feel a bit nauseous and a bit sick. So if I've been asked to attend something or maybe write a piece for something, and if I've not been able to do those things for whatever reason, I feel awful. I feel physically ill, and I feel like it's the worst thing I could have done, even though it's rubbish. Of course it's rubbish, you know, everybody gets bogged under, everybody misses deadlines, you know, even the healthiest people in the world miss deadlines and don't get on with things all the time. But I'm sure many of you have had the experience where, you know, you've been asked to do something and you've just physically not been able to, and when it comes to it, it's just, you just feel dreadful. You just feel like, oh God, I'm the worst person in the world. And it's easy to say, oh, give yourself a break, but when you're in the grip of anxiety, you really can't. You can't give yourself a break. If you could, then, you know, it wouldn't be the debilitating illness that it is. What you can do though is, if you know that that's a possibility, that that's going to happen, when you're working with your group or when you're talking to your group, is just to keep that dialogue really open and try not to overpromise. So, for example, if you've been asked to attend something and you're already sort of thinking, I really want to go, so I'll say yes, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Just, for me anyway, I try and be as upfront as possible and just say, I really want to go, but the truth is, on the day, I might wake up and not be able to leave the house. Can you have somebody on standby in case that happens? And again, when there's times where I might have been asked to make some incense, for example, and I've simply not had the time to do it, or I've lost complete faith in my own ability to do anything, so I've not done it because the crippling fear has taken over, and I've just gone, everything I do is rubbish, oh God, no, I can't do it. How I prepare for those instances is when I do an incense, for example, if I do an incense for Imbolc, and I might have used ingredients like frankincense for purification, and I may have put jasmine, or sandalwood in, things like that. I'll make notes and I'll write that down, and I've got a little book where I keep like recipes of stuff like that, like this is good, these smells work together, this works magically in this way, yes, I like this very much, and I'll try and make a bit extra and keep it on side for emergencies such as that. So if I know that the Imbolc incense was particularly good in a ritual for example, honouring breed, then if there's another requirement for incense of the same ilk, or a particularly, perhaps something of a feminine nature, or an incense of evocation needed, at least I know I've got something on side that I can use to sort of say, right, I didn't make anything specific, however, I've got this which comes from this particular ritual, I think it might have a good effect, can we use this? And also having the recipes there that I've written before means that if I don't trust myself to put something new together, I can just look back through my book and go, right, I know this worked, I've written down that it worked, everybody else said it worked, that's not opinion, that's fact. Let's go with the facts, and then I'll just copy my recipe, and I don't have to think too much about it then, because I find that once I actually start doing something, especially with crafting, making incense, making herbal remedies, things like that, once my hands start working and it's sort of brain to hand, the anxiety does ease off a little bit, because I'm not thinking about what I can or what I can't do, I'm just doing, and I find that that's really helpful. So same example again, I might, I might be thinking, I can't do this incense, I'm not capable, I'm not the right person to do this, and self-doubting, but then I'll think, right, look at the evidence, look at the facts, read your book, and I'll be back to my book, right, here's this recipe, what's your notes on this recipe, right, okay, so this worked in this ritual, the energy was great, everybody said that the scent was lovely, that the outcome of the ritual was what they hoped it would be, okay, let's just make that. And I almost emotionally detach from the situation and just purely go on the facts. So that by the time I've done it, by the time I've made the incense, I might not even feel like an amazing sense of achievement from making the incense itself, but then I get to the point of handing it over to whoever might be using it, and it's like, wow, I've done it. They asked me to do it, I didn't think I could do it, and I have done it. And then that really helps, it boosts my mood, and it pushes the anxiety back a little bit further. I mean, there's no cure, obviously, in that sense, not for me personally anyway. I find it's always present in some form or other. But actually achieving something, especially when I've been doubting myself, especially when I've been on the cusp of just giving it all up, just managing to do something and give it to somebody and them go, great, thanks. I'm like, wow, okay, I managed it, I did it. And again, what I try and do then is again, in my book, in my notebook, I try and record, yes, I just copied this recipe, but I did it, I achieved it, I was feeling X, Y, Z, I was feeling self-doubt, I was feeling, even to the level of self-loathing, but I still did it. And then again, at the later date, when the anxiety kicks in again, when I look back through my book, I can see, right, okay, I've been here before. I've been in this situation before, and I got through it. So I think it's really key to record instances like that. Keep notes. Even if sometimes you might look back at your notes and think, oh my goodness me, I was so miserable then. And that can be really hard, and I know it can be really hard, but you will look back at those notes and you will see moments of achievement, moments of pride, and moments of joy, and I think that, again, is really important. One of the other things that you can do to keep in touch with a group when you can't get out and about, and this isn't just for anxiety, I mean, we started doing this simply because everybody was sort of busy and people were travelling and people were just not able to get together a lot, and that's distance working. So we might call it meeting on the astral plane, or we are having a web that you connect across. There's lots of different terminology. One of the ways that we used to meet up was we each assigned ourselves a colour, and when we were due to get together, we'd set a time. So technology is great for this because we'd use email or Facebook Messenger to communicate and discuss a time where we would all get a quiet space. We'd sit down wherever we happened to be. I was usually in my bedroom at home, light a candle, focus on the candle, and try and get into a meditative state. And we would just simply reach out for each other. Now, the reason I know this works is because the first time that we did this, I'd not been able to get on my email a few minutes before the planned distance ritual. I'd been very busy with my little boy. My little boy was a baby at the time, so this is probably going back about 5.5 years or so. And I'd seen the original email, which was the time, what we were doing. And I was literally all right, so we'll sit down, we'll meditate, and we'll see if we can sense each other. That was all I knew at the time. I got my candle lit and I relaxed, and I sort of zoned out, got into that meditative state, did breathing exercises, and relaxed even more, to the point at where I felt I was just sort of drifting. And then as I sort of drifted gently, I noticed that there were colours around me, and it looked like pillars of colours. And I saw this pillar of orange, almost like a pillar of orange flame, sort of flickering in and out, a bit like a fluorescent. If somebody just stood different coloured fluorescent tubes of light, and there was an orange, and there was a pinky purple, and there was a green, and I was just wow, I didn't really know what was going on at the time, but there was this real sense of togetherness and a real sense of connection. I meditated like this for a while, and when it had finished, after a meditation, I always try and relax and drink some water and eat a bite to eat afterwards, because just to sort of ground yourself. And then I wrote down sort of everything I'd seen and felt and remembered. It was only after that I managed to get on my email, and I saw the email which had been sent a few minutes prior to the ritual, which said, just so we know that we're connected, can everybody choose a colour please? And of course the colours were the green and the orange, and so on and so forth. And I remember being absolutely blown away, because I'd known nothing about that prior to it. And of course it definitely worked, because the first way that I knew everybody was there was seeing these colours appear. So it was almost like we'd used that as a way of waving a flag and saying, hello, I'm here. So that was great, and I would always recommend that as a way of working. I mean, there's lots of other different ways you can connect up as well. I mean, one way I've done spell working with my friend is that I gave her a rock off my altar and told her to put it in a specific place in her room, a specific direction in her room, and I concentrated a lot of energy using the sort of spirits of that particular quarter. And so again, sort of projecting a bit yourself onto an object again. And I think the main thing is always to, whatever your anxiety or disability, whatever it is that stops you connecting to your group, just try and stay as open about it as possible. So communicate, tell your people what you need. If you need space, tell them. If they if they are, you know, brothers and sisters and friends, then they will accept that and they will understand and they will be supportive. And please, if you are in a group with people who have those needs, please be supportive, listen, never ever assume that there's an attention seeking thing going on. Never ever assume that there's anything but true commitment, because if somebody is suffering from anxiety or depression or any mental health condition or any physical health condition, if they tell you that they can't do something, they are being the most responsible magical practitioner they can be, because there is nothing more responsible than saying, I can't do this right now and I need a bit of time. So please ask for support and be supportive. Thank you for listening to me today. I really hope you enjoy the rest of the online Imbolc festival. And I'll say goodbye from a rather cold and breezy Hornsey. Okay, all the best. Sláinte.